Peace, neighbors. What's popping with the population, neighbors? Yo. So, neighbors, check this out. I've came across a way that's not only going to revive your seedlings, but train the roots of these seedlings to grow vigorously. I've came across a deadbeat plant parent proof way to revive the plants that you've been neglecting, that you've been just absent in their lives, just full on neglection and just being the ultimate deadbeat plant parent too. I found a way to get you back into the upstanding with these plants. Have them perky again. Have them looking like they full of life and ready to grow and be the most prosperous fruit-bearing trees or just plants in general. Yes, this method I'm about to show you guys, I want you to do one favor. When you learn this method, when you observe this method and try it for yourself, I want you to do one thing and one thing only. This is very important. Come here. Come here closer. You listening? You see me? All right, listen. I want you to tell everybody in the neighborhood. Tell everybody. I want you to tell your neighbor, to tell their neighbor, to tell their neighbor, to tell their neighbor this method. Spread the word throughout the neighborhood and tell them where you got it from. And much more bigger than just giving me the credit, make sure you give the Most High the credit for having you come across this info. And not only come across this info, but for this information to become cognitive to you, for you to receive this message, receive this method, and not only receive it, but put it to action and see it working on your plants. Feel me? We gonna be in the upstanding with our plants, you heard? So this is for all my deadbeat plant parents, even the ones that's not deadbeat plant parents, but sometimes we neglect our plants, and sometimes it just happens unintentionally. You feel me? I'm not a deadbeat plant parent, but there is times where I may be neglecting. I have so many plants that there's some plants that may be getting neglected in the mix of the plants that I have. You feel me? So this way is for you too. You feel me? I'm gonna give y'all the whole rundown of how I came across this method. And the biggest component to me even coming up with this method. Now, neighbors, transparency moment. You know that orange, yellowish, bright star that's constantly giving us light and energy on a day-to-day basis, especially here in Florida? There's nothing new under it. And in layman's terms, for those of you who didn't peep the lingo that I just used, or that phrase I just used, that means nothing new is under the sun. Nothing new is under the sun. Nothing is new to God. Feel me? You heard? So, you may have came across this way, or this way, now that I'm thinking about it, may align with other ways, such as the double cup method, or even aquaponics, slightly aquaponics. I just want you to know, I came across this way through two things. The first thing is access, and the second thing is my God-given creativity. I'm going to go over those things, so don't worry. But before we even get into those things, make sure y'all do y'all due diligence, man. Hit that like button. Make sure to comment neighborhood, or just show some overall love. Let me see your energy in the comments below. And if you haven't already, which I don't know why are you not subscribed to the greatest More Life show on the planet? You heard? The planet. Solar system, everywhere. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to grow this neighborhood one neighbor at a time. I hope that anything that you get out of this method that I'm about to show you, before you judge it, before you put your negative energy into this method, try it for itself. Before you put your negative light or opinion into it, or even if you put your positive opinion to it, try it for self. Try it for self. Feel me? You there? Before we give our opinions in the neighborhood, Let's try it for self and see if it works. Not everything's gonna work for everybody. And certain anointings, God-given anointings, aren't gonna work for the current day generation. You heard? So what that means is, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So this way that I'm about to show you may not be new to some people. You know what I'm saying? Some people may have came across this way in a different version, etc. But I just want to let you know there's nothing new under the sun. Now, there's ways that have been, retaught to the new generation that have stood the test of time and that constantly do work throughout every generation. But there's also other anointings, other ways and methods that were just for that time. Feel me? So I say all that to say this: if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, put that in the comments below, and let me know your opinions if you do try and it doesn't work. Let me know how you did it, etc. Feel me? What are you seeing here? This is a little square tray, and in this square tray is some 4-ounce juice, what I'm gonna call juice bottle pots. Now, for those of you who don't know my backstory, I have a juice business that I put on the back burner recently or in the past year. Long story short, put it on the back burner because I have too many businesses that I'm trying to focus on, and the main business that I really want to focus on, which was my original business, is my plant nursery and also the YouTube. I want to give my time to y'all on here on the YouTube consistently. I naturally just put the juice business to the back burner. Will I revisit it in time? I don't know. Will I integrate it in what I'm doing in the future? I don't know yet. But for now, we do not offer juices in the neighborhood no more. I rather encourage you to go get your own damn juicer and create your own juices. Now, I will be coming up with like future PDFs and stuff like that to get you guys in your bag, give you inspiration to create your own juices. But as far as selling, do not sell any more juices. I'm not even taking private orders anymore. I'm officially putting the juice business on the back burner. You feel me? Still will be talking about health, because this is a health channel. Still be on my juice fasting and all that timing. I'm just not offering the actual juice service to the neighborhood. You get me? Now, back to business. Back to the people, you heard? What you see here is a square container. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these juice bottle pots that are housing my seedlings. I'm going to take them out and dump this water. I'm not going to waste this water because this is nice rainwater, and I love rainwater. Love it. It's the best water you can get. It's full of nitrogen, and it will help your plants grow faster, and honestly, it's way better than giving your plants the tap water. Just like you don't want to drink tap water, your plants shouldn't be drinking the tap water. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect or I don't give my plants tap water, but whenever it rains, I try to allow them to get as much of the rain, the natural rainwater, as possible. So now, you see how this is filled up with water? I'm putting this in here, and I will be pouring it back in this tray at some point. Now, this tray, the reason why I dumped it, because I want to tell you about this tray and why it is that I had these juice bottle pots in there as well. Now, the backstory behind the juice bottles, why do I have so much juice bottles? I have a juice business, and I thought in my creative mind that it was a good idea to have 4-ounce juice bottles. It wasn't, because now if you're using it as a sample, okay, but if you're using it and selling 100% juice in these shots, it's going to be quite hard to and very expensive, especially when it comes to your roots like turmeric, ginger, etc. And I shortly noticed that, so I put them in the back burner. I have at least a good amount. I have like 500 of these bottles sitting around in this big ass box, taking up space, and I wanted to get rid of them. I know some of you guys are thinking, well, why didn't I get rid of the juice bottles? Why didn't I sell them? Honestly, neighbors, I couldn't give them away for free, let alone sell them. You heard? And in order to just ship them to people, it would cost me at least the amount it cost to even when I got the bottles in the first place, which is around like $180. You feel me? So that was out the plans. So I called around to some of these health and wellness spots that sell juice shots or cold pressed juices or acai bowls, stuff of that nature. They wouldn't even take it, even though I was giving it up for free. So there I have it, these juice bottles just laying dormant in the crib, taking up space, and I'm gonna show you the box somewhere on the screen so you could get visual reference of what this box looks like and how big it is and why I would want to get rid of these juice bottles if I'm not using them. Nobody would take them because nobody sells juice shots in 4-ounce juice bottles. They're pretty long. It's a lot of juice to be giving somebody in a shot. So one of my thoughts was to just throw them away, recycle them. But then the true, righteous, eco-friendly version of myself was telling me, no, don't do that. Because even though recycling is good, let's be honest, neighbors, it isn't the best. One, it's very expensive for any country to keep up with. Two, it's better to reuse and more cost effective. Three, how do I actually know that every single thing that I recycle is not going to end up on some landfill somewhere, thus creating a bigger problem in the future? You get me? So I didn't go that route. So I just, again, had them laying dormant in the crib. One day, I had some new seedlings growing, emerging out the pots. Had them in a nice sized pots, about 2 nice sized pots like this. Had them emerging out the pot. So it had to be at least 100 guava seedlings. 100. Ready to be transferred in the next few weeks. And I kept milking it until the damn guava seedlings were turning brown. Yes, the seedlings were turning brown. They just looking like they need a new home. And it was time for me to go get them a new home. In order for me to get them a new home, I will have to get at least 50 to 100 new pots. And in that time frame, yes, I'm all for investing in myself, but that was a hefty price to pay in that moment. Feel me? And agriculture is more about creativity and using what you have access to than buying the latest, greatest technology. You feel me? So one day I was thinking about these pots and throwing them away, these juice bottle shots and throwing them away. I just thought that's $180 going away. So one day it just hit me. I was like, yo, what if I take those seedlings, because they're not that big, take these seedlings and I put them in their own respective juice bottle pots. Here's what the juice bottle looks like. Here's what it looked like when I started housing my plants in them. So I cut the top off. I started poking holes around it and the bottom so that, the plants can breathe and they can stretch out if they need to. So I did that, created my own potting mix. When I had these juice bottle pots just laying on the table like you see here, a day like today where it's windy, what will happen is when it's a heavy wind, it would constantly knock over my pots. I had to constantly pick them up. So one day I just thought it was a bright idea to use this square box. So this square thing is a water catcher. Where did I get this water catcher from? Now, this water catcher comes with this ceiling tray that I purchased from Home Depot. This is a quality ceiling tray. And basically what it does is it goes and attaches, well, it doesn't attach, but it goes on the bottom of the ceiling tray. And what's the use of it? When you water your plants, right, what happens is it catches the water on the bottom. And what it does is it encourages extreme root growth. That's why roots grow so vigorously outward or downward, because they grow towards wherever the water is at. And that's what's gonna happen. If I were to keep this attached and constantly water it, the leftover water would drain down into this little square tray, and it will give basically these seedlings access to water. It creates like a somewhat of a self-watering system, you feel me? But I wasn't using it for that. I honestly didn't know what the fuck it was used for until, I just thought about it not too long ago. So what I was using it for, to house and place my seedlings in here. I'll fill them up till there was no space in here so that it will be nice, compacted, and that, the wind can't easily blow over my seedlings. Now, I had way more seedlings housed in here than I have right now, but you guys get the drift. You feel me? It's kind of hard. It's much harder for the wind to knock these over because they're leaning on each other for leverage. In me doing so and me watering these plants, what will happen is water will obviously fill up in this tray. So in the beginning, when I started watering them, what I was doing was I would constantly empty the tray. I would take the seedlings out the tray and I would empty it. But after a week or two, I got tired of constantly doing that. Then I just started leaving the water in there. And I can't possibly always constantly dump it because I'm not always here. I'm not always around every time it rains. So I started noticing that water was constantly filling up in here, just like it was in the beginning of the video. Water was filling up just like this. And it will always stay filled just like this. And until, like, you know, I guess the water was getting drained out, obviously by the sun and also by the plants itself drinking the water. So this is where the access and the creativity came to. Now, the access is I had these bottles, these juice bottles, and I had this tray. The creativity came in when I realized that one day I had picked up one of these bottles, or these juice bottle pots, that's what I call it, and I kid you not, the roots was literally this much outside of the pot. This much. And it led me to believe that being that it has access to water, it's just growing vigorously like this, and it was. You could kind of see the roots already starting to, you know, grow down to where the water is anyway. And just to show you even further, a better example, look at this. Try this method if you want vigorous growth just like this. Look at this. Look at this. Look how vigorous this guava tree is growing. And I had about 15 to 20 guava trees that I saved because remember when I told you they were turning brown, dying, whatever. It's growing just like this. Now you may be asking, where are those guava trees? They're actually, I transplanted them into their own respective pots, which I will show you. I also was putting my key lime trees in here, key lime and Meyer Linden trees. I also utilize it for my cacti. This specifically is a dragon fruit cacti. And also for my succulents. This is specifically a leaf of life, or Bryophyllum pinnatum, which is a Caribbean staple of a herb. You know, all my Caribbeans, you already know, leaf of life. If you know, you know. If you don't, do your Googles. I was putting my juice bottle pots in this tray, and eventually I got so tired of dumping the water out of it, I just allowed the water to stay in there. And what was happening is it's basically a self-watering system. This is why I said this way kind of aligns with, you know, the double cup method or aquaponics. The only difference is I'm using soil. I'm putting these plants in soil, but I'm also submerging them in water. Now, this method may not work for all plants because some plants are very, very sensitive to having wet soil. But to be honest, I think it will work for all seedlings. It's just when they get to a certain stage, that's when you got to transfer into their own respective pots and then water it accordingly, you feel me? But I think in the beginning stages, it works for pretty much all seedlings because it promotes vigorous root growth, as you guys can see, as I just showed you. It promotes vigorous root growth. This is how you want your roots to grow. You want them to grow nice, long, and horizontally. You feel me? That will let you know that you have a healthy plant. That's where the access and the creativity came through. And not only the access and creativity, but also allowing nature to be nature. You feel me? The access is me having this tray that I was not utilizing. I just had it laying around the grass, laying around the backyard somewhere, and I just had these 4-ounce juice bottles just going to waste. God sparked some in me, planted a seed in me, and I started utilizing it. You know, and it also led me to think that, you know, this is a bigger lesson, just not for just growing your own plants and trees and food and in general. It's a bigger lesson just in life on if something doesn't work in one area, sometimes all you need to do is shift your perspective and see if it works in another area. You feel me? These juice bottles were becoming liabilities to my juice business. Taking up space, wasn't utilizing it, just was there, laying dormant. It wasn't until I shifted my perspective and switched how I looked at these bottles to realizing that this is an asset in another area in my life, which is my plant nursery, my horticulture business. Became an asset because now I'm growing all my seedlings in this. And whatever seedlings are not doing so well, I'm isolating them into their own juice bottle pots and doing the same method, and it's bringing them back to life. Sometimes we have the answer, we just need to look at it from a different perspective. You know, sometimes where we thought we had passion in, or we thought this was the right path for us, is the wrong way. And God is trying to make you go this way, the opposite way, you feel me? And that, in this sense, was this specific example right here. Like, I thought that, you know, in my head, I had this juice business that was gonna go crazy. Mind you, I had the horticulture business before that. That was my first business, you know, but I was inconsistent with it to grow this juice business. And in turn, these juice bottles made me shift my way back to the horticulture business. This could be for anybody, you know what I'm saying? This isn't just about growing food. This is bigger than that, you know? What could be a liability in one area of our life could definitely be a total asset and progression in another area. I sound like I'm repeating myself because I am. These juice bottles were a liability to my juice business. But when I put the juice business on the back burner and looked at these juice bottles from a different perspective, it became a total asset to my horticulture business, my nursery. You feel me? And yeah, some may say it's plastic, but it's better than just recycling them for them to eventually go into a landfill or something. Feel me? It's better to reuse than to melt down into a microplastic, and who knows where that's gonna end up. But we know we have an ocean full of microplastics. Sometimes you just gotta look at the scenario, observe it, and just shift your perspective. You know, why is it not working in this area? Okay, where could it work else that I may have an interest in, or that other area that God is trying to shift me to walk into? That's all it takes, is a shift and awareness that needs to happen for you to look at something in a different light. I'm just telling you guys, neighbors, I literally came across this method through 2 to 3 things. And that is access, my God-given creativity, and just allowing nature to be nature. And the examples of those things is, one, I had access to juice bottles I was not using. I utilized them as my pots to house my plants in, my seedlings in. This tray, I utilized this tray that I had sitting around the backyard doing nothing. I housed them to keep all my pots together. And eventually, this is where nature's being nature. You feel me? No pun intended. You heard? The days that it will rain, or the days that I will water the plants, water was constantly filling up in the tray. And eventually, me getting tired of constantly dumping the water out and allowing it to just sitting there was giving the plants access and the ability to water themselves. And again, what do roots do? Roots grow towards water. So why do roots grow so deep? Why do roots go wide? They grow wide and they go deep because of the water. You know, when you inside something and, you know what I mean, if something is super wet, you know, I ain't even gonna go there. But listen, you know, the roots are gonna grow towards the water, and that's what they are doing inside these juice bottle pots. That's why aquaponics could be considered to be very successful. That's why aquaponics, you'll see, whether it's natural aquaponics or regular aquaponics, where it's just water, you'll see that a lot of those roots, like those plants that are grown in that aquaponic method, have vigorous root growth, because They have consistent access to water. Even though I'm only using this for my dragon fruit trees, my key lime, Meyer lemons, pink guava, and my leaf of life plants, those are three different type of plant groups. One is a succulent, which doesn't even like having crazy access to water like that. Another is a cacti, which is kind of something similar to a succulent. Again, could do could obviously do well in arid conditions. One is a citrus fruit tree, and another is a tropical fruit. You feel me? So I'm pretty sure that this will work for pretty much all trees. You dig? You just got to do the most important thing, and that's utilizing the method to see if it works for yourself. And again, there's some deadbeat plant parent out there that's been neglecting their plants, that needs to get back in good standing with their plants, in which the plant is looking at you like a total dweeb, total deadbeat. It's just total neglection of a parent. And you could possibly utilize this way to get back in good standing, you heard? At the end of the day, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. You never know until you try. You feel me? And that's what I did eventually. It took for nature to do nature, but I tried it and it worked. Again, I'm not saying I came up with this method. This method does align or bring two methodologies into play. But, hey, I came across this method from access, God-given creativity, and allowing nature to be nature. And that's another lesson for you guys to take heed to, is that, all of us have access to something. All of us have access to something. I happen to have access to about 500 of these juice bottles, in which I paid $180 for. If I didn't utilize these pots, I would have had to allocate another $200 to $300 to go get some pots to house my plants in. And if I would have did that, I probably would never came across this method in the first place. So everything happens for a reason. And again, back to the point, you probably have something that you could utilize. Like, a lot of you guys complain and say, oh, you can't afford to go get a bunch of pots, this and that. Understood. But you have styrofoam cups in your house. You have plastic cups that you utilize to pour juice or water in. You have those water bottles. I had the water bottle sit somewhere. It's somewhere around here. You guys have access to something that you can house your plants in. Again, you don't have to spend $180 and lose out on that $180 for it to hit you and utilize it like I did. You could literally utilize what you throw out every day. You drink water every day, right? This is one of those 16-ounce bottles that you could utilize as a house for your plants. All you literally got to do, neighbors, is cut the top of this bottle, poke holes around it, and you could start to growing whatever. You could start sprouting some tomatoes in it, some peppers. You could start growing onions, strawberries, dill, basil. You could start growing it in something like this. You could grow lettuce in a styrofoam cup. You could grow kale or whatever green you want to grow in one of these plastic bottles. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just cut the top of it, and if you need more room, cut it in half. You feel me? And it makes for a bigger, more room, more space. You feel me? And if you need more space for the root to grow downward, all you got to do is cut it more towards the top where the cap goes. That way you have all this room for the roots to grow. You feel me? You have, and I'm pretty sure you throw this out every single day that you drink water. You can utilize that. You probably have some storage bin that you have sitting around. Utilize that. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop making excuses to growing our own food. And just call a spade a spade. Say you just don't want to grow your own food. I'd rather you say that than constantly make excuses and say you can't grow your own. Oh, it's too expensive. How? You go to the store and buy vegetables and stuff to cook with every day. Seeds are super inexpensive. You could go buy a pack of seeds for about $4 to $5. If you can't expend money to that, Every time you go purchase a scallion or celery or lettuce that's still connected to the bottom, celery that's still connected to the bottom or to the root, onions, ginger, turmeric, garlic. If you still buy these things from the store, you could grow these things. Sometimes all you need, and like I said earlier in the episode, sometimes all you need, especially when it comes to growing your own food, is access and creativity, and allow nature to be nature. And a lot of y'all think access is money. No, sometimes access is the things that's laying around in your house, in your room, in your space. Feel me? It's not money, funds, or technology. It's especially when it comes to growing your own. Access is the junk that you have available or that you're not utilizing or that you classify as junk every single day, like water bottles, storage bins. You get real creative, start using plastic bags. You can go get a grow bag. Feel me? You know what I'm saying? You could use what you get every single day. You could possibly try to use a box. Now, when you water the box, it may get soggy on the bottom. Feel me? But you could utilize it. Just keep it on the porch or something. Feel me? You ain't gotta keep it in there because eventually it's going to biodegrade. But could you utilize it to sprout your stuff? You feel me? The bottoms of your celery, your scallions, your romaine lettuce, stuff of that nature. Plant that in the soil. Water it. Put it in the windowsill. Put it on your porch. And I guarantee you will start to see stuff growing. And that one seed, that one cup can be the seed planted in your mind to then have you cultivating and producing hundreds of produce. You feel me? From lettuces to kale to tomatoes, peppers, scallions, you name it. But you never know because you don't try. You just make excuses. Solution executor as well. You get me, neighbors? Excuse the noise. Excuse the my voice. A little bit under the weather. You feel me? I feel great. I just have it doesn't help that I'm sitting here just talking for 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I should be staying hydrated, keeping my voice, keeping my talking to a minimum. But I just got to get this game to y'all neighbors. Because if I don't, nobody will. You feel me? And also, I have accumulated a lot of mucus. And I probably have came across some type of bacteria that I shouldn't have. You feel me? Or some type of germ. You feel me? So I'm a little bit under the weather. So excuse my voice. Excuse the background noise. There's some type of construction being done in the neighborhood. Excuse the planes and all that shit, but we outside. That's gonna happen, you feel me? But again, neighbors, if you don't take nothing from this episode, I want you to take these few things that I've been stating throughout this whole video. And that's, in one area, if something is a total liability, especially if it's something that you were trying, that you had interest in, that you thought was a passion of yours, that no longer is a passion, if you invest said things into it, time, money, etc., and it becomes a total liability because you're not utilizing it no more, you lost the passion, you lost the interest in it, don't just throw that stuff away. Don't just or before you throw that stuff away, before you just trash it, shift your perspective, try something new, try something else that you have interest in, and see if whatever those materials or those things, that knowledge that you got from that first passion can materialize and become an asset and progress you in the next. What is a liability in one area could become a total asset in another area in our lives. A total could progress us fully in another area in our lives. And sometimes all we need to do to get started, or what we need to have to get started, is to have access, and it's three things: to have access, God-given creativity, mind power, brain power, whatever you want to call it, and just to allow nature, allow God, whatever you want to call it, to be it. You feel me? You know? Get out the way. Get out your head. You don't need the latest, greatest technology, the latest, greatest camera, the latest, greatest this. Sometimes you just need the access, creativity, and just allow God to be God. Feel me? And I guarantee you, a lot will get progressing. You feel me? And what is the access? You feel me? The access is what's laying around you. The same thing that I said was a liability in your life in a one area is something that you have laying dormant around the crib, laying dormant in your area, your said space that you're not utilizing, that can be access, a key to the next area in your life. You know? Somebody around you could be access. Your phone could be access. You on it every day. Utilize the shit for some knowledge, some wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Utilize your peers. Utilize the neighborhood. Utilize your neighbor. You feel me? Sometimes access isn't something that we don't have. This is a gem. Sometimes not having access doesn't look like what we don't have. Sometimes not having access is what we're not allowing our mind to see as access. Yo, that's some game, you heard? Stop fucking playing with the neighborhood. Times not having access is not what we don't have availability to, but it's what we're not allowing our minds to see as access. Again, we have a lot of things sitting around us that we're not utilizing, that could give us access, that could be a key to another area of our life. We just not looking at it. We're not becoming cognitive enough to see that. You know? We so worried about every problem in the world, who's they and who, but we not worried about the solution that God has been throwing in our face, having in plain sight the whole time. Again, I'm going to say this again. Sometimes not having access does not look like the technology that has not been granted to us or the money that has been granted to us. But sometimes not having access looks like the mindset or what we're not allowing our mind to see as access. You know what I'm saying? We're not allowing what God is projecting or showing us as access in another area of our life or where we're trying to progress to. You know, we often get stuck in this mentality of access looks like, the system not giving us these tools. And no, sometimes access is just something that we not seeing as access. Sometimes not having access looks like a limited mindset, limited creativity, not using our creativity, our God-given creativity. That's what not having access looks like sometimes. Utilize it. God gave it to us for a reason. Feel me? God gave us these bodies, these human experiences for a reason. Utilize it. Put it to work. You got nothing else better to do. And I guarantee you about to complain after this shit. So once you get that complaining done, utilize what I just said. You feel me? So you could get to it. Sorry to make this another 30 to 40 minute episode, but sometimes I just get real passionate, and when God is using you as a vessel, ain't no time limit. You just gotta project, speak the message however it comes out. And I want y'all to listen to this message and not look at the messenger, but hear the message out. We gotta stop looking at the messenger all the time and look at the message. Do y'all due diligence. Make sure to give this episode a like. Make sure to give this episode a comment. Again, nothing new under the sun. I may have not came up with this method. This method may align with certain other methodologies, such as the double cut method, such as aquaponics or natural aquaponics. I came across this method through access, God-given creativity, and what? Allowing nature to be nature. Allowing God, nature, universe, whatever you want to call it, to be that. You feel me? And getting out the way of it. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So, let's get to growing so our health could get to glowing. You already know the mainstay motto. Grow your own / support true righteous local growers like myself. There's thousands out there. You pick. or continue to rely on a broken system to supply you their own. And we all know what their own comes with. Ain't no more complaining, ain't no more crying, no whining, ain't no more being ignorantly bliss. And if you do want to continue to be ignorantly bliss and cry and whine all the time, even though you know that there's a way out, do that shit outside the neighborhood. It's time to become the solution. Don't complain if you continue to give light to the problem, knowing that there's a solution. Look at the message and not the messenger. Sometimes the message don't look so attractive to you. So the fuck what? Listen to the message. Sometimes it doesn't come across our ears the most pleasant way. So the fuck what? Utilize it anyway. Listen and hear the message out the best way that God wants you to hear it. Don't allow this message to hit you 20 years later and then you will wind back on it and be like, damn, I wish I should have listened to that then. Listen to it now. You know, it's all love and prosperity. Make sure to go follow me on all my socials at neighborhoodnature_. Website coming out soon. Y'all already know we got the plant nursery, so go support the plant shop on Etsy. Again, we will be migrating to our own website soon in the foreseeable future. But for now, we staying in the present moment. So check out the inventory. We are diligently working to offer the neighborhood a plethora or a variety of different seeds, plants, tools, knowledge, wisdom. So we can have you outside growing so that your health can then get to glowing. You feel me? And y'all already know the mainstay motto. Grow your own / support true righteous local growers. Hold on, let me rewind that back. This is the, you know what I'm saying? This is the, you know what I'm saying? We gotta say this like the Pledge of Allegiance, you feel me? We gotta make sure we make it through every episode so we can say this together, you feel me? This is the neighborhood Pledge of Allegiance right here, you heard? Pledge of Allegiance, and there's a reason why I'm putting it towards the end, because I need you to get through the end. I need you to get through the episode so that you can get the gems and the wisdom and just the knowledge in the videos, or just the fun time that you get from watching these videos. And then we're gonna come together as a family and wrap it up with this pledge to the neighborhood. One nation under God, you heard? Grow your own / support true righteous local growers like myself, or continue to rely on a broken system to supply you their own. And again, I'm not going to continue to explain what their own comes with, because you should know it by now. But if you're new to this channel, what their own, what the system's own comes with, what they provide for us is nothing but fake food, dis-ease, disconnection, unalignment, and so forth. The list could go on. It's your choice. Choose wisely. Peace, love, light, much healing energy to you and yours. It's your favorite neighborhood. See you on the next one. You dig?